If I, as a Democrat, disagree with you as a Republican, I'm not going to question your motive. I'm not going to question your allegiance to this country. We are actually stoking division in our country when we call those who disagree with us un-American. That is what is un-American. Because that right there, that kind of attitude is what is actually anti-American. That kind of attitude is what is actually treasonous, is to attack our Constitution and to attack the obligations that we have in our Constitution, to attack free speech, to attack the powers of Congress, to erode our ability to investigate and conduct oversight. That is what is un-American. And this administration and Kristi Noem spits on the American flag every time she does that nonsense.
In today's video, the Democrats are more desperate than ever before to sway public perception, because right now the Democrat brand is in the dumpster. So they held a town hall meeting on CNN, hoping to convince the American people that they're the reasonable ones in the middle of this government shutdown. But the whole thing turned out to be one huge dumpster fire on live TV. And from one of the very first questions that was asked, you knew this wasn't going to end well. When Bernie Sanders was asked about why Republicans have been able to appeal to a larger audience, let's take a listen and see what he had to say.
Hello. Republicans have been appealing to audiences, especially young people like myself, online using social media. Why does Republican messaging on social media seem so much more effective than Democratic messaging, and what can we do about it?
Well, that's a great question. I think the Republicans are effective. They have learned a lot about social media. And by the way, it doesn't hurt that their friends own all of the major social media platforms. You know, Bezos owns Twitter or X. Zuckerberg owns Meta, Facebook and Instagram. Mr. Ellison is going to own you pretty soon. I think he's going to take over CNN, not to mention CBS. So these guys have, you know, they can use algorithms to help them.
You know, Elon Musk owns Twitter, X. He got that wrong right off the bat. But according to Bernie Sanders, the problem is the algorithm and the media. Really? I mean, just for clarity, let's understand that Mark Zuckerberg has only recently switched things up. I mean, prior to that, he was censoring Facebook in the 2020 election on behalf of Biden. And the mainstream media, they've been pushing liberal narratives for years while pretending to be neutral. There was even a study put out of guests on late night talk shows by political affiliation, and it wasn't even close. Look at this, 511 to 14. But according to Bernie, the first thing he can point to is the algorithm. The real issue is Democrats' messaging has become so extreme because they keep pandering to the far left, and now it's backfired. People are leaving the party in record numbers, and they're not looking back. The constant push of wokeness, open borders, and socialist-style policies have alienated working-class Americans who just want safety, stability, and common sense. And at this point, the Democrats don't even have a message anymore. Their entire strategy boils down to one thing: Trump bad. That's it. No vision, no solution. Just the same tired slogan that they have been running on for years, and the American people are tuning them out.
Yes, thank you for your time, Senator. How do you think this shutdown reflects on Chuck Schumer's leadership?
Well, I think it reflects more on Mike Johnson's leadership and President Trump's leadership. This is a leadership which said it's okay to give well, how do you feel? You tell me. Think it's a good idea to give $1 trillion in tax breaks to the richest people in the country and then make massive cuts to healthcare for working class people?
I think Chuck Schumer has voted for continuing resolutions 13 times in the last 4 years, and he has the opportunity to vote for one again, but he's refusing to come to the table.
Well, I think, look, as I have said.
You see, they're banking on the American people being too dumb to be able to put two and two together. Because Bernie, you don't need to tell us what you think about government shutdowns. You said it very loud and very clear in the past. Take a listen.
The truth is that shutting down the government is a serious and dangerous action that we must do everything possible to prevent. Shutting down the government would impact tens of millions of our fellow Americans who would be unable to access government services. It would severely impact federal employees who would not get the paychecks they expected. It would also have a very significant impact on our armed forces. In other words, we must do everything that we can to prevent a government shutdown.
And so what changed to now? Subsidies that you knew were going to expire haven't expired yet because we're still not at the end of the year. Suddenly, that's enough for you to say, we'll put people out of work. We'll make sure people don't get paychecks.
Senator Bobby Harms is joining us. She's a bartender from Horn Lake, Mississippi. She is a Democrat. She submitted her question via video.
A Democrat from Mississippi.
Indeed.
All right, there we go.
My American dream has turned into a nightmare. My family was only days away from closing on a USDA loan for our dream home. Then came news of the shutdown, and now we face uncertainty. Our lease is up, and now we have to move. The shutdown is costing us our chance to live our dream. What are you doing to end this stalemate and help restore faith in our elected officials, the people I helped to choose to guard my American dream?
We're going to do everything that we can to bring an end to this terrible shutdown, which is hurting you and which is hurting 1 million federal employees and millions of people who use federal services. But also, we have got to be cognizant that if Trump wins this fight, our healthcare system could well collapse and tens of thousands of people could die every single year.
Yeah, he said the quiet part out loud. This isn't about policy. This is about not letting Trump win. I want you guys to think about this. Here's the problem with what they're arguing. They're trying to extend the subsidies for the so-called Affordable Care Act, aka Obamacare, which was supposed to make health care, if I'm not mistaken, more affordable. Clearly, it didn't. Now, that's literally what they're saying every time they argue that these subsidies need to be extended. Now, they won't admit that because it would tarnish their messiah, Obama. But the facts are the facts. First, it was the American Rescue Plan Act in 2021 that was supposed to temporarily expand premium tax credits under Obamacare. Then it was the Inflation Reduction Act in 2022 that extended those subsidies into the end of 2025. But the key word in all of this is temporarily. And so if Obamacare did what it was supposed to do, did what they claimed, why do we need these subsidies in the first place? Sure, COVID did happen. Okay, fine, we'll give them that as far as an excuse. But those subsidies were never meant to be permanent. Democrats knew from the beginning that they would expire in 2025. And they knew that if a Republican were in office, there'd be no appetite to continue to extend those subsidies just to continue to prop up Obamacare. What they're really doing is trying to convince Americans that more government involvement in their health care is the solution to clearly what they've already been doing and hasn't been working. Bernie Sanders and the Democrats, they love to act like they care about working Americans, but if they really did, they'd be addressing the real issue. The fact that we have an obesity problem in this country. The fact that companies are allowed to put crap inside our foods. And those are some of the main contributing factors to why there are so many sick and unhealthy people. And that's something that RFK Jr. has been attacking aggressively with trying to solve that problem. And Bernie Sanders and Democrats have done nothing but attack him for it.
Do you think Trump could win this fight?
No, we're going to win it. But it's not, I don't want to look at it like a political fight. We're going to win it because the American people are on our side. If you are, or you're a Republican congresswoman, you're going to go back to your district and people are going to say to you, why are you doubling my insurance premiums? Why did you throw me off of health care? That's a fight that Republicans are not going to win.
Well, and to Bobby's question, Representative, earlier you said that House Speaker Mike Johnson said he wants this shutdown to be one of the longest in history. I believe he said it could be one of the longest in history. He was saying that more of a warning about how long it could go on. I don't think it was a threat. But I do think people want to know how long they should brace for this to potentially go on for. Do you think by Thanksgiving the government could still be shut down?
I mean, I would certainly hope not. I would certainly hope not. My hope is that we're able to resolve this as quickly as possible. I'm ready to negotiate. Bernie's ready to negotiate. I mean, we are all open and ready to.
Is anyone actually negotiating right now?
No, but let's.
Hear from
Let me reiterate one point. Republicans aren't in town. How do you negotiate with people who refuse even to show up to do their job? They're on vacation for what, a month now?
Yes. House Republicans have been on vacation for over.
But the Republican senators are here, and House Speaker Mike Johnson, we've had him on. He said we've done our job. We passed the clean CR in the House. It's now up to the Senate to make these negotiations.
They need to pick up a phone, Caitlin. They need to pick up a phone. They're saying that they're doing all this work. They are twiddling their thumbs and talking to each other. It is actually an unconscionable abdication and refusal to work. They refuse. I've never seen people who hate working so much in my life. I mean, genuinely, they won't even pick up the phone. They won't. If I were Mike Johnson, you should be in that office negotiating with Hakeem Jeffries every damn day until we reopen this government.
AOC is one of those people who genuinely believes she's smarter than she actually is. And all you have to do is let her talk. And you find out real quick, that's certainly not the case. Now, I don't even know why they would think it was a good idea to send her out to these town halls. I actually do know why. It's because the Democrats think that the American people are too dumb to notice the contradictions. But Republicans love when AOC grabs the mic. She's like Jasmine Crockett. The more, the merrier. The more they talk, the more Republicans just sit back and say, watch this. Because you know it's about to be a dumpster fire. Now, the House already passed the clean CR, the same type of resolution that Democrats have supported in the past without hesitation. But now suddenly they're pretending as if it's the Republicans' fault that the government is closed. How does that make any sense? I mean, if every vote you got Republicans voting yes while Democrats are voting no, but yet Democrats are trying to frame it as if Republicans are the ones to blame for obstruction. I mean, come on. And this CNN town hall meeting isn't about transparency or solutions. It's about trying to sway public perception because let's be real. The Democrat brand right now is in the gutter. Their polling numbers are terrible across the board heading into the 2026 midterms. And even with the mainstream media running interference for them, people aren't buying what they're selling. Because usually come the midterms, the party running opposite the president has momentum, but not this time. Democrats have alienated voters, tanked trust, and overplayed their hand. And when people like AOC open their mouths, it just reminds everyone why.
But I do think people want to know how long they should brace for this to potentially go on for. Do you think by Thanksgiving the government could still be shut down?
I mean, I would certainly hope not. I would certainly hope not. My hope is that we're able to resolve this as quickly as possible. I'm ready to negotiate. Bernie's ready to negotiate. I mean, we are all open and ready to.
Is anyone actually negotiating right now?
No, but let's. Let me reiterate one point. Republicans aren't in town. How do you negotiate with people who refuse even to show up to do their job? They're on vacation for what, a month now?
Yes. House Republicans have been on vacation for over.
But the Republican senators are here, and House Speaker Mike Johnson, we've had him on. He said, we've done our job. We passed the clean CR in the House. It's now up to the Senate to make these negotiations.
They need to pick up a phone, Caitlin. They need to pick up a phone. They're saying that they're doing all this work. They are twiddling their thumbs and talking to each other. It is actually an unconscionable abdication and refusal to work. They refuse. I've never seen people who hate working so much in my life. I mean, genuinely, they won't even pick up the phone. They won't. If I were Mike Johnson, you should be in that office negotiating with Hakeem Jeffries every damn day until we reopen this government. And any day that you don't do that is a failure. It is a failure. And until there is accountability for people who refuse to work, then we're going to continue to be in this cycle. So, you know, in the Senate, the Senate Majority Leader is John Thune. He should be negotiating with Chuck Schumer. President Trump should be having congressional leaders in the White House. Do you see that every day? No, you don't, because they're playing golf and they're going to Mar-a-Lago, and the House and Republicans in the House have been on vacation for weeks now. We are here in Washington, D.C. We are ready to work. We are ready to strike a deal. We're not here to just be my way and the highway about everything. But what we're also not going to accept is the complete collapse of the American healthcare system, so that just because the Republican Party has decided to take 1 million federal workers hostage.
The healthcare system isn't going to collapse because of these subsidies expiring. And AOC is exaggerating, fear-mongering, and just basically grasping at straws, because honestly, the longer this goes on, the worse it looks for Democrats. Listen, you could talk all you want about caring for the American people, but when paychecks stop coming in and when bills begin to pile up and people realize it's because Democrats keep voting no, the jig is going to be up real quick. But the Democrats seem more focused on fighting Trump than actually serving the American people. Their priorities are backwards, and it shows. And it doesn't get any better than this moment right here, where Bernie Sanders and AOC were clearly triggered after CNN, in a rare moment, aired the truth. Take a listen.
But are you saying that Senator Schumer should not be worried about a primary challenge from you?
I mean,
All right.
no.
Let me jump in on this one. This is what we're
talking about.
That's exactly what we're talking about.
This is what we're talking about.
You have a country that is falling apart. We had a housing crisis, a healthcare crisis, an education crisis, massive income and wealth inequality, a corrupt campaign finance system, and the media says, "Oh, you're going to run. What are you going to run for?" Nobody cares. She'll run what she wants.
Nobody cares.
It's the House Speaker and President Trump and the Vice President saying it.
Right.
Pardon?
Well, of course, they're saying it to deflect attention away from the real issues.
Exactly.
And here, let me tell you what the real issue is. Let's see if CNN talks about it. We're living in the richest country in the history of the world, right? All right, you tell me why we're the only nation not to guarantee health care to all people, the only nation not to guarantee paid family and medical leave, why we have a $7.25 an hour minimum wage, why we have 800,000 people sleeping out on the street, why we have a president who denies the reality of climate change, why we have oligarchs on top who have more and more power every day. Let's talk about that issue, not her own political future. She'll decide that.
Clearly they were triggered. And listen, the reality is AOC, she's not going to give up her positioning as far as what's really going on, her intentions come 2028, where she's probably going to take on Chuck Schumer in the primary. She's not going to get that bit of info out right now. But you guys let me know your thoughts on this whole entire town hall meeting. Leave your thoughts down below. I appreciate when you guys chime in. Don't forget, you enjoy any part of the content, smash the like button for more. Subscribe to the channel. Don't forget, stick around for the next video. Cartel war rising as cartels are now placing bounties on ICE agents' heads. And a Chicago judge has just ruled that federal agents can no longer arrest illegals outside of a courthouse. Stay tuned for that, and I'll see you next time.